he's a former player in club rugby. He's come into the camp, trained very, very well. Yeah, and he deserves a start in our opinion. He's going to bring, a lot of experience. He's a hard-nosed player, and I think it's what we need in round one. Yeah, well, George has run there for the last 2 weeks, so that's been our plan with Jonathan Davies' injury, which he picked up in club rugby before coming in. So George he did it in the Italian game. We thought he did well, and as I say, he's trained there for the last week and a half, so he's comfortable in 13, and we're comfortable with him there. Obviously, we missed having Johnny Williams. He was originally selected to pair up with George in that game, and so they'd trained that entire week for that match too. So it's not as if it's uncommon to the two of them to be running together.
And Hallam Amos?
Yeah, well, it was just straight swap. We had intended on starting Josh on the wing, and obviously well publicised earlier in the week that that won't be happening. So it was just, rather than push George back to the wing, we just wanted to make one change, and that was Hallam coming in. Yeah, well, the call was always going to be to see how Jonathan was playing as much as George, because he's had hasn't really had a good run of games due to injury, and obviously he's picked up another one now. So look, it was really going to be how John came into the camp, the form that he brought in, and how he went in the first 2 weeks of training. We would have made a decision in here. If John had gone well and George was going well, very likely we would have gone John and George. But obviously with Jonathan's injury, it was a very quick decision for us to put George at 13 based on what happened in the Italian week, and that's and the form and confidence that he's bringing in. Obviously, George is part of those discussions when we look to change a player from one position to another. We don't think so. You just got to look at Josh Navidi when he came in against England at Twickenham after being out for so long. We had intended playing him for about 50 minutes in that match, and he was playing so well, he ended up playing the whole 80 and did a very good job. So, look, Josh, it's the work they're putting in behind the scenes here and with their clubs that we take into account. And obviously we did some testing in the first week, and they've come through that very well. So we're confident that they'll do a job. Josh obviously coming off the bench, so he's not required to do the full 80. Look, I think for us, the first two tournaments are always going to be a little bit of change and probably a little bit of time to look at obviously the well publicised autumn series, the way we went about that because of the ranking system. So I think we've parked that now, and everybody realises that the Six Nations is where we're going to be measured in a lot of areas. And so for us, it was really about having a look in those first two campaigns and then coming up with a side that we believe is good enough to win on a given day, and factoring in the injuries, this is a side we've come up with.
How about the atmosphere? Yeah,
it's something that we'll be talking about. Obviously, we learned a lot from playing with no crowds in the autumn, and I think everybody did. Some did it better than others, and it's something that we've learned from, and we'll look to, within the camp, generate some sort of spirit and the ability to go on as if there was a crowd there, to be honest. Look, just walking onto the park on, we were losing track of the days, on Wednesday it was, in the afternoon we had a training session there, and the lift and the boys just being in the home changing room again after so much time away. You could see the smiles on the faces. They're happy to be back there. Kickers out there again today, and then captain's run tomorrow. So very much looking forward to getting back into the change room, onto the stadium. Oh, look, don't look too much at those comments. We look at what he's doing in games, and we have a lot of stats, and we have a lot of footage that we look at, and we talk to people that are very close to the action at the Ospreys, and people that we obviously we cherish their opinion, if you like, and everyone's got their own opinions from afar, but obviously we look at what he's doing in training as well, and I think you'll find that anyone you speak to in this camp would echo the words that he's done very, very well and deserves his opportunity. I think we'd take a mixture of both. Obviously, we're always looking to critique the performance and improve the performance. They slowly improved through the autumn. We need to keep building on how we finish that campaign and make sure the performances, we're happy with it. Ultimately, at the end of the day, sometimes the result doesn't go your way when you get a good performance. We can handle that, but it's when you don't perform well and don't get a result, it's really disappointing. So round one, obviously we're after a result and a good performance. Good performance hopefully will get us that result, and we'll take it week by week and try and build on each performance. Certainly Ireland is the big focus, getting off to a good start.